talk about, I can't think of another role you've done that couldn't be 180 degrees away. Was that the appeal, or was it just the appeal of doing this project, and that was a great character you got to do?
Well, I think it was just a matter of just trying to find that was something that kind of was presented to me, and the material was so ripe and so gorgeous to look at and read, and so full of so much stuff that's really kind of prevalent in today's society. Playing a character like this was very daunting. There's a lot of fear in it, and for me it was a process and a journey to find him and kind of be very correct towards Neil's words, coming from the theater world, and respect from him, and always wanted to do something with Neil. So it was pretty much a gift. I think all of us felt that it was a gift, and it was a very unique opportunity to be a part of something that is very, I think, unique and groundbreaking in television. And that's a lot of the reasons why I kind of joined on, and there was a fear behind it, which I really enjoyed.
And if I could follow real quick, it's one thing to play that character because he's out there, but in that second episode with Kiki, you're playing almost on your heels the entire time. I mean, he's a guy that's sort of, is that harder to do than to be the guy that's out there, pushing, rather than the guy that's just sort of playing defense?
Yeah, you have to kind of push and play with that episode. I mean, I kind of found myself trying to crack a joke here or there to try to lighten the experience, which kind of turned around and kind of slapped him in the face and made it more realistic of what the situation was. And coming to grips with that and playing his vulnerable side, which really came out towards the end of that episode, which was a very enjoyable process for me. To see that kind of come full circle in a way. So yeah, I was back on my heels a lot, and I had to try to find defense in a lot of ways, and to try to kind of, with this character, to try to get in touch with him at the end, at the phone call, and just try to really kind of calm down. Being there and not wanting to be there, being there for the reason of just to get through it. I mean, there was so much going on after the episode that I had with Stanley, that the Kiki one just kind of, she really called me on everything and put it right there in front of my face and made it very difficult to save face with everything going on, and that was a journey.
I know it's a little bit hard to tease. What can you tease about your characters' relationships?
Go ahead, tease away.
Sorry.
What can you tease about your characters' relationships?
What can I tease
Yes.
about our characters' relationships?
Yeah.
You mean mine?
Both him with his wife,
Yeah.
or kind of wife, and with Jace.
And what can I tease about it?
Yes.
What does that mean?
What can you kind of preview?
Yeah, for those of us,
we've seen the episodes.
For those who haven't watched,
yeah, for those who haven't actually seen it yet, what can you kind of hint around about so they can get excited about seeing these episodes?
Preview, man.
Right.
Preview.
I'm a good preview guy.
That little green thing that comes up says preview.
Yeah. The 30-second slot. This is my 30-second slot.
Go.
Well, gosh, that's a difficult question. The show is called Full Circle, and whilst the whole 10 episodes might be a full circle environment, each particularly double episode is almost like a full circle itself. And I think that comes out of the fact that you're getting dynamically different environment that each character's in, as he was just talking about. And the first one for me is the one between Bridget and Stanley, which is my wife, and myself. And Stanley is kind of an arrogant attorney who kind of thinks that he has, or believes he has, kind of this perfect existence, and very quickly into the appetizer. And each episode is split up into appetizer, main course, and dessert. Very quickly into the appetizer, we find out that things are not going as well as he thought, and it changes dynamically. And then the second episode that we do together, as opposed to Stanley kind of being the arrogant kind of guy, Jason's the arrogant kind of tour de force kind of character that my character finds slightly inappropriate, which is interesting based on the fact that if you had seen the episode before, you're going to see how inappropriate Stanley can be as well. So it's really interesting. The dynamics of all the characters are fascinating. It's obviously a well-written piece by Neil, but it's also well performed. I've seen 4 of the episodes, and they're very well done, and under a lot of constraint. It was all shot within a very short period of time. Everybody had a lot of dialogue and a lot of intricacy to that dialogue and those characters. And I just think it's a fascinating piece as an actor just to be a part of. But it's also, I think, as an audience, one of those. There's a lot of great shows out there right now that just kind of warrant the next watch. You know what I mean? That kind of just make you want to look forward to tuning into the next episode. And I find myself on Netflix or whatever it may be, just kind of going from one to the next, and I really feel like this has that kind of. This is that environment where you want to see what's happening in the next episode. So I think it's an interesting concept. I think it's an interesting piece conceptually. I think that we haven't really seen before, and I think inside of itself it's a fascinating piece. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. It wasn't 30 seconds.
You did that way teleprompter. You did that all stream of consciousness. That's what I love about it.
I've been practicing.
I mean, you know what?
I've been practicing at home in the mirror.
You know, you can just listen to that verbiage and what he brought to the character on the connection we had, the two of us. Man, it just brings back great memories for me. It really does. And I mean that full honesty. I mean, she is, being able to sit and talk about a piece that you've done with somebody you work with. It's always a pleasure to be able to come out the other end saying, you know what, you really have such high regard and respect for the person that's doing it, because it is a team thing, and it is an involvement of something that's very committed, obviously with a piece like this, and it was enjoyable. The process leading up to it was very arduous and extremely hard to get.
Intimidating.
Yes, very much so. And when you were on time to play your game and stand up and do your thing, it was great to be able to throw that ball back and forth to somebody and have that give and take. And it was an enjoyable experience. So with him, with Kiki, it was great. And even everybody that was involved in it, it was a great experience as hard as it was.